Hello everyone, Coin Stamp here, or Swirling Vortex, or Steven, you could call me any of those, and welcome to another episode of Elden Ring Reforged. Last time, we proceeded to explore a lot of places in Mount Gelmir, but not get very far in actually, getting the map fragment, which is what we wanted to do. As it turned out, if I had kept going past the 9th Mount Gelmir campsite, like I climbed up the ladder to the Falling Star Beast and everything and kept going, we would have managed to get the map fragment. It totally slipped my mind that that is what we were doing. But we learned a bunch of other cool stuff in the meantime. Most importantly, we also saw on the way toward our intended path Patches, who turned out to be going toward Volcano Manor, and warned us, well, if you're that gullible, stay the bloody hell away from it. Well, I got good news and bad news for you, Patches. The good news is we aren't headed to Volcano Manor yet. The bad news is that we're not going to stay away forever. We're going to eventually head there. That's the last stop we got to make before heading on to the Erd Tree. Oh, hello. I see that the welcome party has arrived, and it didn't take long for them to get started. How is everyone doing on this fine day? For those of you coming from YouTube, welcome. Truly, welcome. For those of you who are just now getting here, I did a double feature today on YouTube. I started there first. I missed a stream on Friday, and I made that up today. Once I did that, I took a couple of hours. I also managed to get in a 1-hour nap. Yay. I was only slightly later than usual, instead of like multiple hours later than usual. And then somehow I ended up managing to make it onto the stream at roughly the time I was supposed to be. I already went and switched everything ahead of time, so literally the two things I had to do before stream were to switch over the, stream elements and, get the adverts ready. Get those Discord notices in place. Oh, hello. Yeah, so this looks much more like where we actually intended to go, is up here. And we're going to smash them with some rocks. So for those who aren't aware of what we're currently doing, we are closing in on this map fragment rather quickly. It's nice to see that, there is an intended path. It just looked very different to how I had it in my mind. That's all. How do I want to do this? Probably something like that, albeit with a bit more of a focus on killing them one at a time. And I think one of the reasons why I said things the way I did in the earlier bits of the intro is just because I was leading up to how our build currently is. We are mostly inclined on sorceries at the moment. I intend to change this. I intend to get us back on the right course of spreading out our casting stats amongst intelligence, arcane, and faith. But it's going to take me a little time to do that. I'm trying to wait until after we've gotten the larval teardrop recipe in order to really change. Like, we still have a few larval tears, which we could totally use as necessary, but we're going to sit right here and wait because I see an invisible scarab beetle. Um, I'm waiting, yeah, I'm basically waiting for the larval tier recipe so that we could do that a little bit more easily. And if we need to shuffle out stats to beat up on a particular boss, we could do that. Something else worth noting by this point is I'm just watching where this beetle is going. Ash of War through and through. Now this one I've never seen, so we're going to take a quick look at it. It's over here somewhere. Well, okay, no. This is the standard Great Bow Ash of War. I've never seen the actual Ash of War, though. This one's nice to have. Okay. Powerful archery skill using a great bow held in an oblique stance. Ready the great bow. Then twist the bowstring to fire a mighty great arrow that penetrates the enemies, usable on great bows. Through and through is the great bow version of Mighty Shot. So if you're used to using Mighty Shot, then you will be used to using through and through, other than it being slower, and for great bows, of course. Great start to an episode. But most importantly, I'm streaming here for you guys. How are you guys doing on this fine day? It's nice to be back home. I'm probably gonna be Oh, okay. Get away from the sawmill of death. It's nice to be back home. Although in a month, I'm gonna be gone for like 11 days, which is like a brand new record for house sitting. I don't think I've ever house sat someone's house for that long. The most I house sat for was like a week. So 11 days will be the longest stint I've ever had to do that. That'll be fun. Hopefully my sleep won't be completely screwed over by that. And also, I guess I'm trying to time it so I'm trying to time everything so that hopefully, now that I know that I have an 11-day stint where I'm house sitting, my job applications will be going out after that point. Probably. Oh, hello. I don't have time for slower spells, so if you'll just excuse me. That's like a giant, Oh, those hand enemies were given a special name that wasn't super intuitive. I forget what it is. Thankfully, we've got this codex. We can look. Would that be a putrid abomination? Nope. That might be... Nope, those are dregs. No, I'll figure out what this is. Would that be the servants of Rhea Lucaria? Perhaps? No, not even then. Interesting. I don't know. But it's clear we've already identified it before. So I'm hoping we'll get the chance to identify a similar cousin, and I know what to look for. So, for reference, Erd Tree is across the distance. Over there is Volcano Manor. And we came from somewhere over in that direction. We were just here. Or, we were just over there past that cliff where we dropped down. Boy, do things sure look different on the other side now that we've made this little transition, so to speak. And we're surrounded by marionette soldiers. Don't know what to make of that. Just trying to mind. So our map fragment is actually down there, and the way into the manor is up through here. We don't want to be dealing with that. Instead, let's head down this other path then. We'll make sense of this broken map yet. Not to worry. It might only take us 5 ever to do it. I'm joking. I'm joking. Making sense of the maps in Elden Ring is really not that difficult. You just have to be persistent. Oh, well, hello. Trying to figure out the best way to approach this. I'll probably just use rock slings to get us started. I know we had another one, but he's way over there. So we could just run at it with a carrion slicer a few times, and they're dead. What an odd mix of creatures to be... I mean, it's not exactly an odd mix. We've seen marionette soldiers before. We've seen these hand things before. I think we've even seen them together in the same place. Like, maybe the Carrion Royal Manor. I know it had these hand creatures on the bottom. I don't remember if it had marionette soldiers on the top. I definitely don't remember that being the case. But I think this is probably the first instance of just seeing them together. Like this. I think that might be our map monolith down there. Off to our right. That's what I should say. Down there doesn't mean anything, coin. Ah, we're gonna prepare something special for you. And one more time with some feeling. Small finger creeper. Oh, these are finger creepers. What a name. I had totally forgotten about that. Finger creepers. Okay, well maybe now we can get a better sense of the name. They're not, it's definitely not sentient flora. I'm looking for a finger creeper. It's not a living construct. They're not servants of death. Are they unaffiliated? Nope, we looked here too. We'll find these things. Greater Will? No, they're strictly not part of the Greater Will. Nope, they're not fringe folk. They're not part of the Golden Order. Well, we'll figure out this entry. It's bothering me. I really need to know. Ah, they are a Gelmir blasphemy. Interesting. Okay. So we've got the small finger creeper. Weak against slash, pierce, holy, strong against magic. Pff, not by my account, but maybe that's a weakness to bear in mind for earlier on. We certainly didn't use magic against the things when we were fighting them in the Carrion Manor. We were certainly on our split build. I miss our split build. I mean, I appreciate the power of being as focused as we are on sorceries, but I really prefer having access to all my tools. I like having high arcane, which makes it easier to find and farm enemy drops and stuff like that. It sucks. Nice. Come this way. Right this way. Big finger creeper. Actually, they're just regular finger creepers. Mount Gelmir. Now, our map... Look at this. This is what we have. This right here. We've got this good chunk of land to explore. I told you guys we would be going back. Now, we have this map fragment, but I want to see what this ghost here is. Also, I think it might be worth checking out the rest site over there. Lord Rykard, if this putrid field of death is what your blasphemy would bring, then I can no longer abide. No one can. Did Rykard intend to bring war upon his demigod siblings? Alright, let's rest. And then we are going to check for a level up at 170. We're going to go back to the Table of Lost Grace, sell our poppable runes, see if we can level up. If not, then I guess we just get to hold on to the darn things. And then we're finally going to go check out the other bits of Altus Plateau. I think it's worth doing. Yes, Hugh. Thank you for all your hard work. It's 157. I don't think we've got any spare gear we could sell. Oh, we got one. Just one. Anything else? I know we had some copies of like certain axes and stuff. Yep, there's another one. Forked hatchet. Another club. This we need to copy for. Spears we don't. They're much better two-handed than they are one-handed, as far as I know. I use them one-handed, but then again, I'm a shield-using plebeian when it comes to spears. I just am. Remove one of these, and remove the unenhanced version. Okay. So, I guess we just keep one of these. Cool. Nope, we don't have enough for a level up. We're so close, but no. Do we have... We have 30 rune pieces. Good. We'll turn in one of those for a spell cost reduction. For those who are maybe uninitiated with Elden Ring Reforged, it's an overhaul mod. I know, we're 53 episodes in and I'm still mentioning this, but I get people... I don't get people all the time, but I think for those who watch the VODs, there may be people who've never heard of Elden Ring Reforged. It's an overhaul mod made by Kernifer, and often employs the help of Vividian and others as part of a small collection of teammates that specifically is it is in fact a proper overhaul mod for Elden Ring. It wasn't this in between where it's like Ascended that changes everything and like a QOL style mod that kept everything vanilla and just fixed up animations and stuff. This is a full-blown overhaul mod now. I think it changes over like 19 or 2100 different objects. It adds custom stuff And with the ability to make extra animations and everything now, I expect to see a lot more weapon arts coming out of the woodworks as time passes for this mod, which is just great. Yes, thank you. And I believe that gives us a 5% reduction. Because the upgrades are definitely small. Where the player holds on to those at some capacity. It's just a matter of where. It's right here. Yep. For each held in inventory, decreases FP cost of spells by 1. Yep. Any spell. Every spell. So 5% reduction on all the spells is just fantastic. That makes that's gonna make casting something like Founding Reign of Stars much easier as we finally get around to these quest lines. So, did we ever talk to Selen after? It's been some time since we've seen Sorcerer Selen. Let's talk to her. I know she initiates the quest line for meeting the primal sorcerers, Lusat and Azur, the staves of whose namesake I now carry.
There you are. Shall we commence?
Nope, not even a little bit. I will figure out. I will remember what that trigger is. Let's see. You spoke to Jaren, and I believe he should have moved to the Witchbane ruins. Because I don't spot Jaren on the map anymore, other than like here. I think you can talk to him for some extra dialogue, but no, I think we've stalled long enough. It's time to go over to the abandoned coffin and finally explore the rest of this golden land that we left behind. We left behind so dearly in order to, map out all its secrets. Because we still have many secrets of the perfumers that we could have gone and gathered at this point. Like, the perfumers were like the main group of people we have not really had the good fortune of seeing a whole bunch. We saw them in their cave, but nothing more than that. And we've already identified one because there would have been a notice for our codex if we hadn't. Speaking of which, one of the features I can point out for the uninitiated is we have a bestiary. I've pulled it out a few times without explaining what it is. It's a bestiary. There are like 431-ish entries in this thing. And pretty much the way it works is you build up information over time. You get a very, very limited amount of it to start with, and then you collect something known as the Sign of the All-Knowing, along with its corresponding booklet item. You also find the recipe for the Signs of the All-Knowing pretty quickly. And there are several overworld items that were just collectibles or consumables. They have all, mainly the ones found in chairs. Like the various chairs with, dead creatures slumped in them. A lot of the Signs of the All-Knowing have been propagated through those. And when you find them, it allows you to mark enemies for data collection. Once you've killed one with the mark applied on it, the rest of your kills are just tracked automatically. You don't have to mark each one. You only need to mark a specific enemy type once. And then after that, you're good. You do have to mark the variants, though, as well. Not just, this thing changed uniform. Gotta mark it again. No, it's every time there's a uniform change. You do, in fact. Oh, hello. I'm trying to figure out what the best one to use here. Probably collapsing stars. Ah. Yeah, I don't think so. You're gonna have to try a little bit harder than you are currently doing. But you can't now. You're dead. So up here are a bunch of omen killers. These are creatures that have... Wait a minute. No, these are straight up omens. I'm mixing up my words again. Take a second and breathe. Alright. Now that I've breathed, these are the omens. They're the ones that typically have their horns chopped off. Or they're thrown into exile if they're nobles. The horns are the symbol of being an omen, like an omen. And if you weren't useful to the Landell military, or, you know, they were locked up until Landell's military had a use for them, and then they were offered freedom. Many of them took this newfound freedom with them. And they're rather obedient. Albeit it isn't without going utterly berserk. As you've noticed, the two omens we just fought had no problem butchering each other and striking each other in combat. Three rock slings, man. 3. I would classify the omens as like these heavy brutes that hit hard. We actually got our first taste of some of them, specifically in Stormvale Castle. You can meet a couple really early, but you don't make sense of what they are until way later. You don't make sense of them. Also, I'm being silly. I've totally forgotten something. I just wanted to get the map fragment so badly, I totally forgot about it. We need to cover some patch materials. So, recently there was an update and we're on version 0.8.1. Poise damage for bows or specifically on arrows and bolts have been updated. More poise damage. Bolts get more poise damage, and there's 25% guard pierce. That's just great. I think this goes a long way. This might be the best change to crossbows yet, honestly. Animation speeds for crossbow firing on horseback. Then our generators got some buffs too. Extra percent-based FP regen on 2 generator spells. So, like, Mind is now something that can be a hot commodity if you don't know how to use it. Or you want to summon stuff a lot. That could be the other way it's useful. Animation speeds on the spells. The ones that are listed here. Hopefully they're readable for you guys. Perfumes craft one at a time. There's a new enemy detection system, which basically, to mince words a little bit and make a longer story shorter, anytime you attack an enemy of the same type, there's a good chance that other enemies of the same type will also be alerted. As well, crits do not trigger this. And those who are too far away also don't benefit from the detection system. Tree Sentinel enemies gained an additional lock-on point. The other really big change to this, other than like QOL stuff, a lot of what I described was either QOL, quality of life, or like buffs and nerfs. Is Melania finally got some hard mode AI and got drowsy AI. So you can bet your bottom dollar that when we fight Melania, we're going to add soporifics to our arsenal. We're going to add soporifics, people. Oh, soporifics are the fancy word for substances and techniques that induce sleep. That's what they do. That's what soporifics are usually medicines in the real world. But here they're either going to be alchemical reagents or the occasional spot of magic, mostly in the form of a sword and a torch, or an infinity. An affinity is really what we want. Being able to make just about anything soporific. That'll be immensely valuable for us. Although, if we're casting stuff, really, our best bet for making things soporific is going to be, just like pots, like concentrated throwing pots are probably how you want to get the soporific effect. Along with frost pots. Those are way useful for... Those are way useful? Those are extra useful for Melania. Mid-air waterfowl dance be gone with a frost pot. As far as I understand. If it turns out that Carnifer has adjusted this, I'm going to be very sad, but also maybe very glad, because maybe the animations and stuff have been changed on the other end. Who knows? Melania is the hardest fight in the books. When we get to Melania, it's going to be similar to how we dealt with Fortisax, where we had to really just sit and put our noses to the grindstone and grind on the difficulty of Fortisax for a while over multiple attempts. We're going to have to do the same thing with Melania. I can guarantee it. Even if we, maxed out a stat to 99, there wouldn't be guarantees that we wouldn't have problems fighting Melania. Like, no matter what. And she's especially mean to casters. Especially mean. She has some nasty gap closers. Very nasty gap closers. And I look forward to showing those. Like, showing those off. A, because I've never actually fought Melania in my entire life. I've only watched footage. And B, because Melania is just... I like the setting. I like the music. The music is especially good. I listened for a while. I had an earwig, or like something that was stuck in my head, where someone made a synthwave cover of Melania's music, and it was super good. Maybe I'll find the link to that over break and link that in chat, but because, oh god, that synthwave be poppin'. I'm not gonna actually play the synthwave because, copyright, but I will at least put that in the chat for anyone who is interested. I saw an Omen just kind of laying with their back out on these crashed, carriage trolleys. I'm not... I guess, like, carriage units? I'm not really sure what you're supposed to call these when they're set up like this. I think they're just, like, the actual, carriage itself. It's like a carriage warehouse. I'm beginning to wonder if, these were perhaps stacked in some kind of capacity. Alright. These Omen Killer... or Omens. I'm sorry, I was about to mix them up again. These Omens can, in fact... You're gonna stand there? If you're gonna stand there, you're gonna die. It's not hard to figure out. I expected you to move. I'm grateful you didn't, because then I don't have to, like, deal with them trying to grab me and putting their foot in my face. Look, I'm not a person with a foot fetish, Omen, okay? Just no foot to the face. Ever. Not welcome. I don't like feet in my face. Washing someone's feet, now that might be a different story. Washing someone's feet is like the ultimate, is supposed to be the ultimate practice of humility. At least if my religious tenets are anything to go by. But scrubbing feet for someone else, like putting them in a rinse basin and actually just taking that burden off of someone else is way different than having a foot fetish. It's way different. They could be intermingled, sure, but I find them to be grossly different things in practice. Or in theory, even if the practice might be it's intertwined. I wonder, I don't want to stay on the subject too long, but I'm just curious how you know, rinsing someone's feet and having a foot fetish would work out. I'm really curious about this. I'll probably look it up on my own time. Please don't put this in a search browser, okay? You know, unless you want the consequences. Please also, you know, if you're... I mentioned this before, I'm going to say it again. This is not a stream for people who are below 18. But if you're here, please don't put that in a search browser, okay? I don't need your angry parents and guardians, you know, coming to me with their complaints. Like, why did you teach your children about foot fetishes? Or, you know, why did you ask this question? I'm like, well, why did you allow your child to be on an internet platform in my streaming channel without any sort of supervision? Whose fault is that? That's yours. Get to it. Fix it. But that's the last bit of pontificating I'm going to do on feet. It's time to move on. You want to go to a stream that pontificates on foot fetishes a lot more? Go check out Couch Jockey. He is the kind of the front face, one of the front faces for a little project called Elden Ring: The Convergence. Along with like Tiger G92 and Aaron the Baron and a couple of others. That's their brainchild. Couch Jockey is also the father of the magic-based hitless challenges, sorceries, miracles, pyromancies, and everything else in between. He's kind of the father of all of that. And he's a very well-respected individual among the hitless community for the Soulsborne games. He's a very well-respected person. Even more so now that he's also working on modded materials. And his chat room gets lewd as all heck. And not that there's a problem with that, just, you know, my place is not his place. That's the atmosphere he is cultivating, and I hope it works out for him. I, however, am a little more chaste than that. I don't deal with foot fetishes. So, moving right along, this lake out here in Mount Gelmir is very much... Did I say Mount Gelmir? In Altus Plateau, this lake is well known for its high quantity of Miranda, like, bloom flowers. Which, if you needed a place to farm your poison crafting reagents, this place right here will do it for you. Miranda flowers contain a special reagent called Miranda powder, and that breaks down to, I want to say, either 5 or, like, No, it breaks down into 18 fragrant amalgams and 6 noxious extracts. Well, the Miranda powder doesn't, but they often also drop poison blooms, and poison blooms do break down into noxious extracts and stuff. Definitely worth coming here just for the chance to farm Miranda powder alone. Also, these places here in Altus Plateau tend to also contain a good quantity of Trina's lilies. Liurnia also contains a good quantity of Trina's lilies. But also there's Mikola's lily as well. You can find all kinds of flowers here in Altus Plateau. Great stuff. Welcome to Sage's Cave. I don't remember what's here. We're gonna find out together. And we can level up. Now, what are we gonna level up? Probably health. We need to get 40 vigor.
Share them with me.
And there's our 40th vigor point.
Your ambitions.
We're gonna put the rest of those into mind. And, like, endurance. We're level 171. We got 30 points to go for cap. I guess I could also prepare, like, Starlight while we're here. If we get rid of, say, a spell I don't think we'd ever be casting, which is most likely Meteorite, this does give us some points to play with. Well, we'll put on some Starlight. Oh, we have room for another? I guess we can put on... Now, why does that cost 2 and this cost... I guess it's an advancement, an actual upgrade? Well, what else do we want to throw on, then? Ooh, you know, we haven't used Tibia's Summons before. Let's try that. It's not an actual summon, it's a conjuration where they do an attack. Okay, that's right. I seem to remember Tibia's Summons being kind of an underwhelming spell. What are we gonna put here, then? Say maybe Magic Glint Blade, and then we can throw on Starlight. Yeah, I think that'll be good. We'll probably still want Lantern, but we can throw on Starlight as well. And it'll just overwrite it. The Lantern is in case we can't bother casting. Nice Illusory Wall. We're just gonna go ahead and... you know, reveal that illusion for what it actually is. Nice. Got a rune piece just for revealing that. That's really cool. Now, what is here? We are going to probably start with our rock sling. Oh, hello. Nice of you to join the land of the dead again. Oh, I think if I fall down there, that is most assuredly death. Let's not do that, shall we? I think we found a good chunk of where the other illusory walls are. Any of these a teleporter trap? No. Oh, Lost Ashes. Nice. And rejuvenating boluses. I don't like the fact that the game has given us rejuvenating boluses at this exact spot. That means we're going to be fighting something that dances with death. Most likely. I could be wrong, but I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'd rather not be right. What about this illusory wall? Nice. Let's take one of these to the face. Oh, I guess I shouldn't be so complacent, huh? Run. Oh yeah, I definitely should have just used a generator spell for this. I'm sort of regretting that decision now. Alright. Well, if those, bandits who live in death don't scare you, I don't know what does. Actually, I can think of a lot of things that are scarier than undead skeletons. You know, such as putrid flesh piles. That's probably more scary. Got a black hood. Whatever for. Candle tree wooden shield. I believe I remember that being a... Yeah, it's a medium shield. Okay. Tall, medium-sized wooden shield, light for its size, easy to handle. It changes which guard boost it's here. Guards, or which elemental resistances are highest. Though to represent a surreptitious prophecy of cardinal sin, the lit candle tree design was forbidden. Interesting. What about this lovely pile? Some nascent butterflies. Well, I don't think we have to worry about nascent butterflies anymore. Should be good. Not that we need to convert them to materials, but at least we have some. Alright. Let's keep moving. So far, we've pretty much gotten a linear experience. You know what? I'm fine with that. If you're dealing with, Elix 1's many branching, winding pathways, I'm perfectly happy to have something linear. Nice. Giant skeleton. Oh, I don't like that at all. Come on. Actually, we need him to come alive again because we didn't mark him. Which kind of sucks, but I guess I understand. How do I want to do this? Do I want to mark him now or a little bit later? Okay, it was good that I didn't mark him immediately. Alright, let's give you the good old mark. Oh, that's probably not good. Nope, get away. Get away. Alright, good, good. So if you guys will recall the, large undead with the giant axes at in Lothric Castle and various other places, that's essentially a recycled enemy. They come right from there. That's a direct DS3 port, which I guess is whatever. I get it. Reused assets save corporate time. I got it. Just give them a fresh coat of paint. Which I guess is what they did here. They made them, actually more undead than they ever were in life. And proceeded to, give them a good fresh coat of paint. There might have been one or two moves in there that I didn't recognize, but I could tell exactly where the recycled part came from. Hello. A stone sword key. Yeah, I do recall one of those being in here. I have been to this place exactly a total of 1 times. Exactly a total of once. What is going on there? I was caught on like a rock, I guess? I feel like it's essentially a more powerful blue lantern. Ooh, nice find. Raptor talons. I believe those are a fist weapon. Should be. Yep, they're right here. Claws comprised of 2 sharp, thin blades wielded by the assassins of Ravenmount. Should that not be capitalized? This weapon allows them to imitate the attacks of deathbirds. Besides excelling at airborne attacks, its charge attack mimics the vicious swoop of a bird of prey. It comes with a passive blood affinity and can have other stuff added onto it. Yeah, I remember using the Raptor Talons. They're a nice, good blood starter. Okay, we're gonna put on some Starlight. We're gonna keep going. So for reference, we were way up there earlier. Right over the falls. This is our spot down here. We're like 1 or 2 levels below where we should be. Here's another illusory tunnel. And the boss gate to boot. Alright, so we're actually going to avoid that, and instead... I think we've basically obtained the Raptor set. Where did I spot this? Robe crafted with the black feathers of a bird of prey, worn by the assassins of Ravenmount. Okay, they did. That does have to go back and be capitalized. I can make a highlight of that and show it to Kernifer and company later. A ritual implement for transforming into a death bird, if only by imitation. We are birds of prey, bringers of death. Strengthens jump attacks. And we had the helmet as well, which would have been somewhere over here. It's like a light helmet. Maybe not, actually. Yes, the skeletal mask. Worn by the assassins of Ravenmount. Okay, so there's like a set of seemingly unrelated... It's hard because you don't really think of it as a set, but it is one. It just has different named garb for each piece. But yeah, it's a jump attack set. There are 2 boss gates? Why don't I remember this? One of these, I think, might be a Black Knife Assassin. And the other might be, like, whatever the cave's normal boss is. We're gonna go through here first. Gotta be careful. Thank you, Mimic, for pulling him off me. Could definitely use that. We're gonna make it really difficult for Necromancer Garrus to do his job. Family heads. The Mimic tier left. The Mimic left, and like a singularity of glory. How amusing. All right, this is actually a pretty good place to take a break too. Making sure there isn't anything else, which there is not. Alright, so I'm gonna give you guys a good view of, like, where we're headed next. We're gonna take a break. Oh, jeez, is that gonna be... it's fine. I saw something on the screen that made it look like, you know, it wasn't gonna handle that super well. So we're gonna take a 5-minute break. When we come back, we will go through that other fog gate, hopefully. And probably note that it's either a Black Knife Assassin or it's going to be something that knocks my socks off either way, I guess. But I wouldn't be surprised if it were a Black Knife Assassin. After all, we found an assassin set in here. I run ads for these. 90 seconds of ad time on the clock. For those who've never been here before. I'm going to take this break now, and when we return, you know what's happening. See you guys after the commercial break. I am back. So sorry about that. Hopefully everybody's commercial break was good. Thank you again to anyone who sat through those ads. I don't blame you if you didn't, though. I had a little something to eat. I don't normally like to eat during stream hours or anything. I usually go right to bed, but I think one pizza slice isn't going to kill me. And I shouldn't fall asleep too much at the wheel. Or in this case, at the controller. I've already dried my hands off nice and clean. And I'm ready to keep going. I haven't had anything since 8 or 9 o'clock this morning. Or, no, a little bit before that. So I definitely needed something. I'm basically awake on starvation, and that's not good. Are we freaking serious right now? This one's freaking invisible? How could I forget that? I can't see where she is. Which is kind of a big problem. Oh, I remember. You gotta use the gimmick of, you actually have to fight her in the water, or you're not gonna be able to see what she's doing. We're going to try to, like, cover our tracks with, some smaller summons, and I believe I got interrupted doing this. If only I could see invisible opponents. Somehow. Let's try again. Yep. This particular Black Knife Assassin will just turn invisible and grab you if you stand there. We were kind of spent on resources. We were either gonna die, or we were gonna be unable to press on anyway. I should have gone back to the rest site first, but hey, I didn't think it was actually gonna be a Black Knife Assassin. I was prepared for it to be. I just didn't want it to be. Sorry, I think I've got a little bit of a crumblet of a slice at the back of my throat. It's like dancing around, even after a drink or two of my beverage, it's still kind of around in the back and making me think or nearly choke. Or think I'm choking or nearly choke in and of itself. Oh, hello. Hello, boys. Nice to see you here. Like, kill anyone today. I never did like any of the undead bandits that dual-wield swords. Alright. Let's press onward. Hopefully with 100% less resource usage. Nope, we can keep running. Right this way, right this way. And it's gonna be right over here toward the bottom. I was a little worried I wasn't gonna make the jump, but we did. And I need to be ready with a summon the second we step through this door. Oh, this is where, oh, hello. Dang it. Yeah, try dancing around five of them now. Nice. Well, let's grab this before we, you know, inevitably die again. I do so tire of you, you know, staying in stealth and, creating problems for me. You gotta wait for her to, like, come out of the woodwork. Alright. Yeah, she is absolutely one of the bigger problems. Alright, we're going to... Nice. I like how she was just dancing around all of them. That's gonna be enough of that. The Concealing Veil is our reward, and I believe it is a relic. Conceals wearers while crouching away from foes. Talisman put together from dark cloth with a lustrous sheen. Part of one of the Concealing Veils used by the assassins on the Night of the Black Knives. Makes sense. Pretty bloody annoying if you ask me. Look at all these hanging victims. I never did like this Black Knife Assassin, and now I understand why I struggled to remember, apart from doing this section only once. You know. Who likes fighting invisible opponents? I didn't like Priscilla from Dark Souls 1 for the same reasons. I didn't like Frida when she did this for similar reasons in Dark Souls 3. When you can't react to what the enemy is doing, and all the enemy does is pursue you with a grab attack, then you can't really fight that well. At least with Priscilla and like Frida, they both reveal themselves for a short time. You can't even rely on that with the Black Knife Assassins. Because we had Starlight on, and it did nothing. The Lantern doesn't do anything either. So I'm wondering if there was some way... I guess we're going to... I don't know what I was thinking when I started that sentence. And now it's bothering me that I've forgotten this. I also totally did not. I was so busy concerning myself with food. Jeez. That I totally forgot to look up the thing I wanted to talk about. My memory is not going to be good today, guys. I can already feel it. And my pronunciation is also going to be a problem. My THs and my Fs are going to be all over the place today. I am so sorry. I am normally much better than this when it comes to content generation and entertainment. Maybe someone will find the fact that someone who's well put together can have a bad day. Maybe someone will find that funny. I don't rightly know. I don't rightly know. We're gonna stand in the midst of these, take the poison, and quickly use one of these. I don't know how we're supposed to get a codex entry when we can't target the darn things, but, you know, I guess we'll have to do our best, won't we? Hopefully we'll find another burrowed Miranda sprout somewhere we can actually, like, target. I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't, though. The Miranda sprouts are surprisingly hard to get rid of with traditional attack methods for a reason, and it's because you can't target them. When target locking is the norm, being able to deal with things in a spread is kind of the exception, huh? It's okay, we at least know where that clump of 5 is. And we'll get the little baby one over here. And mind all that poison, I guess. So you might be asking yourself, why was I so eager to show this place apart from, you know, just the theme of the LP, which is exploring everything. And it's because I actually really like the perfumer items, believe it or not. I know that sounds insane. And someone was like, ah, yes, I like casting magic spells. That's kind of my shtick. It's what I'm known for. Why on earth would I bother to show you perfumers when that's not been the character theme the whole time? And it's because I have a soft spot for the perfumers. What else can I say? I would love to find some more embedded Miranda sprouts, but I see we're not going to find any. I should just find another thing to fixate on. You commoner? Yep, just a straight old commoner. With a spear instead of any other weapon type, but you know what? That's actually one of the more believable ones. After all, the theory on swinging a pitchfork or using a pitchfork in battle isn't too different from using a spear. The only thing you might not be used to is the spear's additional sturdiness. The fact that it is a battle-ready weapon, whereas a pitchfork is not. It is sturdy enough for general use in the field it is intended for, but if you strike something with a hardness that it isn't prepared for, you can expect your lovely pitchfork to take some damage. Something that is demonstrated pretty well in, say, Fire Emblem, for example, where weapon durability is kind of the gimmick. It's the name of the game. Okay, we're gonna come up and grab that. Now, I want to remember, is that gonna point us down and to the left or up and to the right? That's what I really want to know. Alright, there's a perfumer, which we should be able to get close enough. Mark, and then kill him. Okay, there are some that we can totally mark. Maybe. We're just gonna get the poison and accept it. Can we even mark these? Come on. Why can't I mark these? This is what I'm talking about. We get a codex entry for something, and we can't mark them. I'm not sure what we're supposed to do. It's interesting that Mikola and, like, Trina are both considered, well, I would say healers, but actually I want to be careful about that. I know Trina was known for dreams. I don't remember what Mikola was known for. So I want to refrain from commentary until I remember. Something I could probably forget to look up later. Alright, how do I deal with this? I can't mark these in the traditional way. Yeah, I can't I can only mark them when they're close for death. Do they, like, embed out of the ground for a short period? I guess I'm doing a little bit of experimentation to try to find out. No, you just straight up can't mark these. They should be marked automatically because you can't target them. I'm gonna trust in... I also should probably put these on a hotbar. I'm gonna trust that we'll find something to help us mark these. Otherwise, there's no sense of giving us a... I know why the codex entry is there. It's for the sake of completeness. But if you can't mark the damn thing, what's the point? Any other Miranda Sprouts want to come in out of the woodwork? No? I didn't think so. Alright then. Now, we saw that we didn't actually activate the statue, so let's fix that. Because we had to go deal with the perfumer first. Based on where this is pointed, I would say it's going to point down, but neither left nor right. Imagine that. That's right, this ruin has a secret area to it. Like most things in Elden Ring, you can never trust cliff sides not to contain something valuable. Like even this little patch of cliffside right here had an arteria leaf just hiding in hiding in plain sight, ready for us to come and retrieve it, to come and get it. All right, this is where you're pointing us to. We need to use 2 stone sword keys, but that's not a problem. I think I remember this being like the tomb of a perfumer, one of the more famous perfumers. We're gonna find out together. Unsightly catacombs. It sure doesn't look like a place that would be, you know, housing the remains of a perfumer, but maybe I'm wrong about that. 1600. So close to a level up, but yet so far away. 13k for a level. Well, I just stepped in here without even paying much attention. Those appear to be wraiths of a sort? Yeah. Oh, they're misbegotten. They're not wraiths. They looked like wraiths at first. No, I don't think so. You don't get to bully me. Not today. Hello, Avidian. Good to see you. How are you doing? Hope you enjoy your stay. Perfumers take care of the downtrodden, and the unsightly catacombs are full of those. That actually makes a lot of sense then. Yeah, that fact was somewhere in the back of my mind, and I just could not remember. Well, we're either gonna find a perfumer down here then, like either is it perfumer Trisha, Patricia, something like that, or I'm thinking it might be in the ruins above us. I know I remember a famous perfumer somewhere in this area. I'm going to it do be Patricia, or do I keep saying Patricia? Dang it, Trisha, perfumer Trisha. Good, thank you for that. Much appreciated. How are you doing? If you don't mind my asking. And while we're here, we can witness the deaths of several misbegotten, provided that I'm very deathly tired, but good. I'm sorry to hear you're tired, but hopefully... But I'm glad to hear you're doing well. Yeah, I got... This is the latter half of today's double. I had to do a makeup stream on YouTube today, so this is going to be... While we've only been live on Twitch for about an hour and a half, I've been streaming today for about, say, 5.5 hours, spread out over about 7 of them so far. I don't generally like doing makeup streams, no matter how much I like to actually play the games I'm streaming. Doing makeups is never fun. Because I'm usually very, very tired afterwards. And oftentimes, streaming makeups borks my sleep schedule up really badly. But I'm not going to let that tamp down my spirits too much. Like anything else, sleep schedules can be fixed with enough time and effort. Although, maybe lately, I've been in a bit of a sleeping slump for the past month, and I haven't corrected it yet. So maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, but usually most sleep schedule slumps are fixed in a reasonable amount of time. And I suppose a little bit of a recap for those who maybe haven't shown up until now. We got the map fragment pretty much within the first 15 minutes. And then we proceeded, no, maybe a little closer to like the last 20 minutes, or wow, the first 20 minutes. And then afterwards, we've been exploring the sections of Altus Plateau that we didn't really explore, that I didn't feel comfortable exploring without a map. Trying to think if there's anything particular. We had a very annoying Black Knife Assassin fight that we got finished dealing with not too long ago. It was the invisible one over in the Sage's Cave. Hated that. Killed the other boss, and that was a pretty non-eventful experience, but that particular Black Knife Assassin was annoying. Even with summoning 5 demi-humans as additional assistants, it was still annoying. I don't mind. Normal Black Knife Assassins aren't too bad, but the invisible one takes the cake. It is the worst. I do not like invisible enemies in Soulsborne titles, just in general. That's not a knock on this mod. That's not a knock on any one of FromSoft's single games, but for whatever reason, I think invisible enemies are a good idea, and I'm not... Maybe it's because they need to justify the existence of, you know, invisibility spells, or some other unseeming reason. Or I know some of it is probably tied to, like, lore. Like, there are enemies that they've written in as being naturally invisible. But even so, from a gameplay perspective, it's just not something I would consider. If I were writing a game, there would be transparent enemies, but maybe not invisible enemies, or nearly invisible enemies. That's just frustrating. I get it's supposed to teach, you know, you can't always fight things with target lock. Okay, fine, cool, but that doesn't mean that it's free from criticism. And that is a hill I'm willing to die on. People can take that to my grave. That Coin said this. Coin does not like invisible enemies, and they can place that on his placard, or an epitaph upon my tomb. Oh, why did I do that? I don't know. You're getting one to the face too, good sir. I forget that axe has some range. But it is fixed. They are dead. I'm trying to think of an engagement topic. I don't like to just talk at people. I like to ask questions. People are either free to answer or not. That's the beauty of engagement questions. I suppose I could go up to the next level. What do people think about meta? Like the meta level is what I should have said. Engagement questions. Love them, hate them. I don't like when streamers ask them. Love when streamers ask them. It's a question that I have in the back of my mind sometimes, and I often don't think to ask it because I'm like, well, people wouldn't really like to engage on that level, but I've seen a number of, Twitch chat rooms and in YouTube comment sections. You would be surprised at the level of meta discussion. Oh god, do I really have to make this jump? I guess I do. Why else would there be a rune piece here, right? Oh. Coin is mediocre at best with platformers, so when I get a platforming challenge like that he failed the second time through, I'm usually I'm very pleased with myself over small accomplishments, but I love when I'm asked engagement questions, like when I'm speaking in the non-entertainer sense, right? Like, as a person, I love engagement questions. It's a chance to specifically be like, okay, the streamer asked me to, discuss my thoughts on this or that, and I do, and not just be like, am I intruding? Do they not want any commentary at all? And is what I'm going to say too speculative? Is it gonna run into spoiler rules for chats? I tend to ask myself that a lot more than I probably should. So I'm curious about everyone else's thoughts on the subject. I think that would make a decent discussion topic. We are well past the point of needing level up, but we can't stop now. Now, do we have... There's the lever. I want to look past that for a moment. Nice. Replacement for... Well, hello there. Oh, God. I never did like you. Just gotta be patient and keep your cool. Because I too very easily freak out in these situations. Oh. With how unorthodox their form is, you'd think that they wouldn't be... they're hulking brutes, but you don't often think about just how accurate they're gonna be. But they can land their blows surprisingly well. I guess it just doesn't look that way when you think you're faster than the darn thing. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. I like the way that they're doing that whole football audible move. Where it's like, ah, yes. Did you fall down there, good sir? You did. Cool. And now I'm just gonna take you out before things get complicated. Especially while the going is good. How do we want to do this? Which spell? Probably Magic Glint Blade. That's probably the best one I would use. Or I could be having issues. Thank you. That should not have been complicated. Let's pull this lever. Good. I thought that might have been what the lever was for. That's usually what those levers look like, but hey, we've already been exposed to illusory doors today, and I wouldn't be surprised if there were some sort of mechanism attached to it, but I suppose that's the complication of only playing through a particular section once. Up until this point, I would say this coming after me with the attention of a rabid dog. Stop. Get help. I forgot what I was gonna say. That literally just disarmed me. Somehow. Happens way too often. Also, my memory appears to be getting worse. Or maybe because the last meal I had was breakfast up until the slice of pizza about, I don't know, half an hour ago. Maybe my memory is just natty from a lack of carbohydrates. I don't know. Right. Now I remember. I often don't like to assume what a mechanism does, even though we've seen, by this point, episode 53, we've seen these particular assets a number of times. We should know what these things look like. I just don't like making the assumption. And if I'm wrong, you know, so be it. Now, Perfumer Trisha, I believe, has an Omen Killer with her. So we're definitely going to want to summon some help. I don't know whether my Mimic Tier or Lutel would be better for this. Methinks I should probably summon the Mimic Tier, but we're loaded up on charge spells, and that means it might get knocked around something funny. Don't know. We're gonna summon something and find out. As usual, I will see you guys on the other sides of these fog gates. I don't like to talk during boss encounters. I tend to die if I do. A misbegotten warrior. Okay. Wow, that misbegotten war. Oh, I feel like it's a stall. We need to get Patricia out of here. I'm not sure we're going to be able to, but I'm going to do my darndest. I definitely think Lutel would have been a better pick for this. I'm gonna have to die. Just kill me. That misbegotten warrior was taking next to no damage. I think that's due to the effect of a perfume, which makes sense. I expect Trisha to buff up her company. That's okay. That means the correct answer was actually Lutel. Because Lutel will actually be able to dance around whatever the misbegotten warrior is doing. Also, now that I know there's a misbegotten warrior, I can plan for it a little bit better. And I suppose the answer is going to be to try to take her out with, and hopefully not, you know, get too hurt myself. It means we could reserve this flask for when we actually need it. This way, this way. Then through here. If I were doing this in real life, it would freak me the hell out. I would not like to be running through dark catacombs. Never mind. Nice. I love getting hit twice. Never mind, you know, having really quite nasty looking creatures chasing after me. I would probably absolutely urinate or defecate all over myself. That would be unfun. Okay, let's summon Lutel. Drink up. Alright, now let's take Trisha out of the picture. Oh, okay, get out of that really fast. You could sit there and toss your perfume all you want at me, but that's only going to be but so effective. Okay, now let's get the Misbegotten Warrior before things get out of hand. That is a roll catcher, which I knew would probably happen. And I accidentally got Lutel killed in the crossfire. Real good. I need to remember to not roll away from these things so much. Okay, please do not pin me between a pillar. I have to roll out of that. I needed Lutel alive for a little longer than that. I'm running away when I should not be. That is the issue with, if I don't have something to deflect the attacks with on the Misbegotten Warrior, I am very quickly overwhelmed. And that's just my play skill. There's no other reason for why I was having issues with that particular fight. Of course, now I have to do that a third time and hopefully not take so many hits, but I get the feeling we're going to be in for a little bit of a wild ride. Let's just get this out of the way. Wow, that is such a wild delay. What was that, like 4 seconds? Oh my god. Yep. We're not going to use rune arcs. We're just going to do without those now. I mean, I can make more. The issue isn't that. The issue is I lost 1 level. Oh, well, you know it's bad when you're freaking out over 180,000 lost runes, even though it barely amounts to more than a level. Can we craft the thing? No. We don't even have the golden amalgam anyway. Maybe we could fix that? Not now. Later. For later. Might have to do some farming off camera. That's definitely what it sounds like. Because that was not really enough, there really wasn't enough material to make, but maybe like one marker or two. No, not a mark. The rune arcs. Those things take golden amalgam. That's right. So many glowy materials. Alright. Well, we got nothing to lose. Might as well just sprint through. I don't even care if I take damage. Round the corners while walking. All that's left is to try again. Yeah, you might be faster than me, but you know what? That's okay. You could be faster all you want. I don't think I could duck that. You're gonna turtle up, are ya? That's fine, I guess. Wow, I was really trying so hard not to get, you know, caught up in a crossfire, but we did. You're not gonna let me breathe easy, are you? No, you're not. Okay. Maybe I should just focus on the miss. Well, no, I have to get rid of Trisha. There's no other way to do that fight. I mean, I guess there's the whole, you know, just do better. Like, obviously that applies. I can just get good, but... I was hoping to get them separated a little bit more than they were already being. Maybe the issue is that I'm summoning for the fight in general when I should just be operating on my own. We're just gonna go through here. I don't know. Maybe the Misbegotten Warrior is just is an actually tough customer. Yeah, that's probably what it is. But it's a combination of tough customer, need to get good. Really, in Elden Ring or in any Soulsborne title, that's about the only words you need to hear out of a streamer's mouth. I can't see what he's doing. Why are you coming after me? Lutel has done damage to you. Oh, that would be why. I thought that mistake would probably happen. Alright, let's finish this. I have done nothing to you, Sir Misbegotten. Alright, let's fix this. wait for him to attack. There's no point in me drinking right now. Or wait for Lutel to get his attention. That also works. Nice. Alright. I'm gonna love doing this for the hitless run. That's gonna be real fun. A pittance. 55,000 runes compared to the 180 something we lost. Oh well. That's kind of the nature of Elden Ring, ladies and gentlemen. If you're not afraid, if you're afraid of death, if you're afraid of losing everything you've staked such a hard claim for, and you don't have the ability to fix it, you're gonna have a bad time. Period. End of subject. Speaking of which, one of the things about Elden Ring Reforged I would like to take this opportunity to highlight is the fact that there's a crafting system overhaul. Before, in vanilla, you actually had to go and search the individual crafting ingredients, and you would make stuff out of those ingredients. So, for example, I believe the boluses were made out of... oh god, I'm having difficulty remembering. This is what happens when you play Elden Ring Reforged for so long. Do you even make the neutralizing boluses? I know some of the other ones are made using either existing boluses or something else. But, or like the dried livers were made using like strips of cured meat. Along with the appropriate like rimed crystal bud or some other things. I'd have to pull up a recipe to show you what I'm talking about. But now, with the new crafting system, you don't have to do that. In fact, you can't do that. Instead, what you do is you go and to make something, like to make this spell-proof dried liver, you, let's see, what does it take to make the dried liver? Essential alchemics, shimmering substances, and gory amalgams. Essential alchemics are made using generic materials, like roa fruits, or, golden roa, or mushrooms. Shimmering substance is made out of, like, crystal materials, glintstone fireflies, or cave mosses, things like that. And the last one is gory amalgam. Gory amalgam is made from flesh, or you know, turtleneck meat, or meat slivers, or even beast blood. All of that creates gory amalgam. Once you make those materials, you then make the spell-proof dried liver. And the neat thing about that system is that there are different materials that cross over to the same breakdown of material. There are different materials that contribute to the same crafting reagent. So in the crafting menu, I believe we saw there were 4 instances where we had gory amalgam. The different items listed here have a different breakdown for those. Some items also cross between different substances. I know that Miranda powder is used to... I'm sorry, I'm thinking of fragrant amalgam. So many different words. I think the Miranda flower was... I think... Good lord. What is this segment? I suppose I should really direct you to my links, my commands. I do have a list of those. If you type in !ERRW, that will bring you to the wiki for this particular mod. The mod does have one, curated by very, very skilled and highly helpful volunteers who contribute their blood, sweat, and tears to making that wiki a living dream. That contains everything you want to know about the new systems. I did try to explain it, and I was much better at explaining it the first time when it came out, but it's been entirely too much time. Like, entirely too much time. And so, now I'm gonna let the links do the explaining. It's why I have the commands. Now, I suppose before continuing onward, I want a rune arc for, like, future spelunking. So we're gonna go and grab some. Best place to probably grab the stuff I'm talking about is over here in the Mistwood Ruins, or to the forest just north of the Mistwood Ruins. That's where I grabbed my, gold-tinged excrement and gold fireflies from. There are other places to grab the gold fireflies. There's one over here in this area. There are like 9 or so gold fireflies, and the enemies aren't rune bears and normal bears, but killing the normal bears also has like a slight drop chance for golden tinged excrement. It's very small. I've only seen it happen once or twice. And for those who are maybe unaware, Evidian is one of the team members in the development for Elden Ring Reforged. Granted, I think in Ivy's own words, they describe Kernifer as doing over 90% of the work. But I would still like to think that Ivy and many others who are part of that, well, out of the small group that's there, out of those that are a part of the helping team, God, I need to speak with some freaking confidence, even if I'm wrong. That's my problem. I'm like all over the place today. So, let me try this again. Evidian is one of the other members that helps Kernifer in implementing and coming out with versions of Elden Ring. Evidian usually does, and Evidian, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but you tend to handle a lot of the texture work, like the icons for the crafting items and stuff. Not these; those are vanilla, but like the alchemics and stuff. Those, I believe you were responsible for these, all of them, or most of them. We're gonna mark you. And I can miss entirely. Why not? How did I miss this? I thought we did a clean sweep of everything. I guess not. I guess not. But that's fine. Evidian is also known for developing the assembler, or like third-party development app known as Gideon, that's packaged with ERR. Whenever you go to download it, says it right on the like the executable window when it opens up. It says it right there. Vidian came up with the code. It basically checks, hey, do you want the PS4 labels turned on? If so, cool. Hit yes. And then otherwise, it just assembles the high definition textures for you, which is just fantastic. I'm glad that Kernifer has a small team around them now. Even if Kernifer is still doing a good chunk of the work all by themselves, at least it's something. Because this mod, I love this mod, and I think streaming this particular mod is my way of giving back. And, you know, any support that people give me while me giving back to the spawn is just great. Yeah. Big, strong bat. You like being told that? No, I'm not letting you kill me today. No grab attacks, please. I forgot what I was gonna say. Right. I'm glad that Kernifer has found people to work with to help lighten that load. Because developing stuff like this is hard. I plan on, you know, provided when I get my real-world job, whatever that is, you know, it doesn't suck up all my time. But if it does, I guess I could say I'm not surprised. That's kind of how real-world jobs go. You tend to be hitched to them for a while. I plan on undertaking a very, very long journey to learning how to do stuff in Blender, and with a bunch of N64 modding tools for Legend of Zelda. That's one of the things I want to do, is make a mod for Ocarina of Time. Because I have an idea. I've done more than just thought about it. I've actually written the darn thing down. I don't have any drawings, but that'll come next. What I mostly want to do right now is just focus on coming up with individual assets that can be independent of the ROM mod that I plan on making eventually. Are you done getting mad yet? Oh, come on. Don't spam that multiple times. Okay, if you want to reposition, that's cool. Feel free to do that, Sir Runebear. Just don't spam the ramming attack over and over. You want to know a quick way to deal with me in PvP? All you have to do is just charge headlong into whatever I'm doing. I am the guy who will sit back and spam stuff at you if you let him. So, ramming some sort of headlong rush is a good way to get me off guard and onto my back heel pretty quick. Just in case I end up playing any PvP titles later, just bum rush me. Don't sit behind cover fire. Don't wait. Just go right in. You'll get the kill more often than not, on average. Because I'll be too startled to do anything else. I hated that I had to farm this on camera, but I would like at least one rune arc for today, despite having burnt up 5 of them. Or 3 of them already. Are we really out of ingenious alchemics? I guess we are. Okay. Well, I'm gonna make some then. Okay, good. Good. Glad we got that sorted out. We have 4 rune arcs. Good enough for my purposes. We're in go mode again. Let's, So what we're going to do is go back to a rest site. Probably the Unsightly Catacombs. We're going to take another break. And when I come back, we're going to continue exploring more of like this lake area. We've already explored most of it. It's really just the land sections now that we have to do. After that, the next area we're going to explore is gonna be this middle ground up here, and any pathways we take to this castle. We already fought some stuff here, mainly the NPC, hostile NPC, where we got the Murray set from. Yeah, we killed him. Whilst trying to get to Volcano Manor, or not Volcano Manor, to the map fragment. But that's what we're gonna do on the return. This is just kind of a blueprint of what we intend to do today. After that, we're mostly gonna spend our time exploring Mount Gelmir. Like, we're just doing a bit of wrap up before we get into Lanedale proper. What I'll probably do is I'll have a couple of cleanup streams set up where we focus on all the missing items that we might have failed to collect and thus no longer be missing. Also, there's this little tiny chunk over here I didn't go complete, or maybe I did and I forgot. I don't know, but we are definitely planning on getting a couple of cleanup streams set up so that we can get all the items, because that is a plan. I do want to get all the items, as many items as possible for a 100% playthrough, which we will be doing multiple times to get all the endings, and probably a couple times more for Elden Ring Reforged optional modes, like either adventure mode or there's a quest mode for this mod where you have to complete the game in 3 days, or essentially lose on the spot. But I've ambled at you enough. When I get back, I'll do a little bit of shilling that I think I've earned, and we'll go from there. You guys know the deal. And for anyone who doesn't, 5 minutes of break time on the clock, 90 seconds of ads also on the clock. Thank you in advance for watching the ads. Or if not, then I guess I will see you after the end of this commercial break. I am back. So sorry about that. Hopefully everybody enjoyed their ad break. I can't imagine anyone enjoying ads. I don't like them as much as the next person. But if you don't like ads and you've got some spare cash, I could have swore I remember turning down the contrast on this. This is not the correct. Okay, there's the feed. Put on the, okay, that's what it is. It's the color correction. It's just to brighten the thing up. So if you don't like ads and you got some spare change, a few bucks of spare change, but spare change these days is a few dollars a month at least, then consider tossing a sub this way so you don't have to deal with those pesky ads. I don't like them. And I hate giving money to Bezos, but the truth of the matter is, as far as I'm concerned, I work for the man. Any streamer essentially works for Amazon. They're a representative. They just work for that company in a very, very loose sense of the definition. Work for him. So if you don't want ads, feel free to toss something this way. It's got to be a tier 1 sub. I believe they cut out the lack of ad-free viewing on Prime probably for like a year and a half now, maybe longer. But you also get a whole host of other benefits that come along with the Prime, not Prime, but like tier 1 sub or better. Or if giving money to Bezos isn't a concern of anyone's, I don't blame you. Some people don't want to think about it. Consider $10 and some odd cents a month for Twitch Turbo. It might be $12 a month. Don't quote me on that. Definitely go look at the page for yourself. But Twitch Turbo allows you to get rid of ads everywhere on the platform. All for the... I'm kidding. But still, if you feel like cutting ads out of the picture entirely, you have those options available to you. Definitely check them out. If you like the content that I'm making, please feel free to leave me a follow. Lets me know that you like it, that I like it, I like that you like it, etc., etc. No matter which way you want to tap dance around the subject, I'm very appreciative. Following is a free, easy way to support your favorite streamers or ones that you know you're going to watch routinely over and over. I'm not saying I'm one of those, but, you know, like, I gotta do something to keep the lights on. And keep the content churning out. Otherwise, I would stop what I'm doing. Maybe not on this. I'd probably still stream this at a loss, but if, you know, no one ever showed me any appreciation for it, I might eventually have stopped. You can only do something for no benefit for... Well, no perceivable external benefit for so long without having it come to a stop. Nice. I totally expected to... Wow, even that's got a limit. Well, I don't have to sit there and take the resource drain. You guys know what I mean with all the shilling. The options are there. If you like the content, consider leaving a follow. You know, if you don't, I can't blame you. Again, I've got the personality of a wet twig, and, you know, with me stammering and finishing my sentences only halfway through, I can't blame anyone for, not following. Understandable. Very understandable and relatable. The rest of the shilling I'm going to leave up to links. I have an About Me page, or an About, like... I have an About the Channel section. It's one of the pages that Twitch streamers have. It's typically right underneath the video player. I definitely recommend looking at that, because I got some fantastic links that will most assuredly help your viewing experience. Getting to know me a bit better. checking out other sweet benefits. And of course, if you do sub, this is probably the last bit of shilling I'll do. I have it set up so that when you sub, I give you a Discord link to my personal Discord. We have a quiet community, and as long as you maintain the sub, or if you use another site, as long as you're maintaining benefits, you'll get the ability to vote on games and stuff. So, and you'll get access to Discord exclusives too. I stream, I haven't been the best at it lately, but usually every Monday I'm streaming on Discord. And we're streaming Divinity Original Sin. And again, that was something that people voted on. So if you want to vote on new game projects as they come up, it's got to be something within my library, or something that people are willing to spend actual money on. But if you want to be a participant in all of that, definitely consider dropping a sub or a visit to Coffee or Patreon this way. It's all very much appreciated. I think that's enough shilling for now. Let's get back to this. We went to the unsightly catacombs. We don't need to be here. I don't know why I moved in. We're gonna reset. And begin exploring topside. Interesting. What are these effervescent wisp-like effects here? They're like silvery gray particles. I don't think I've ever seen them before. They fade out if you get too close. And they all seem to be going toward those ruins. Maybe the ruins got something to do with it. Let's find out. If you're ever curious about something in Elden Ring, just take a look. Doesn't hurt, usually. Some places it might, I guess. But that may be just because, what was I saying? It might sometimes hurt to look if you care about quests, but if you don't care about quests, there's no reason to not at least look. Oh, hi. Thankfully, the Perfumer's Ruins, as one might expect, house perfumers. But they generally have very weak boys. Now, the depraved perfumers, the ones who engage in wartime, like wartime preparations of their aromatics, those have a little bit more poise and tend to move very quick on the battlefield. Normal perfumers are normally defensive. They'll just sit there and toss spark aromatic at you. And yes. And somewhere in this mix is also, are also omen killers. Yeah, you know that thing that was a boss? It's just an enemy now. You could just straight up find it. Drink twice. Really? You're getting to be quite the handful. Alright, that's enough of you. Omen killers, or sometimes will drop this set too. Nice, huh? Let's take an opportunity to look at the set and maybe discuss its lore, if any. Where do we find it? That would be the face guard. Let's get like a vestment or something. I think that's what we saw drop. Omen Killer's robe. Robe worn by the Omen Killers. Butchers of Twisted Conscience. Its thick apron is worn in remembrance of Rollo, the progenitor of the Omen Killers, and a perfumer of antiquity. Oh, Rollo and the perfumers, man. Perfume, and the concept of like perfume and like flowers is something that was taken very seriously. Perfumers were also often seen as medicine men, and women. I think typically men were the ones that engaged in the profession, but we saw perfumer Trisha, which should immediately dispel that claim. Nice, we got the Perfumer's Cookbook. As to be expected, we're in the Perfumer's Ruins. They were considered medicine men and something for the noble class to spend a lot of their money on, as perfumes are often these magical concoctions that help. We saw, believe it or not, we already saw a couple of them. Let me see if I can point to one in particular. Be under the item crafting menu. Here we go. So Spark Aromatic is something new, but the Uplifting Aromatic and the Iron Jar Aromatic are something that would be very much considered within the wheelhouse of normal perfumers at the time. Very much within their wheelhouse. They're said to be these mystical concoctions made from Miranda sprouts and Altus bloom flowers that actually help people in battle, or is otherwise a battle enhancer, on top of just being fragrant things. The people of Altus Plateau take their perfuming very seriously, or at least before the Shattering. Of course, in the Shattering, nobody takes anything seriously except their own madness. And even then, I suppose, madness itself cannot be taken seriously. I don't think so. I'm not letting you spew poison gas today. I guess that's a casual sentence I didn't think I would hear. Not letting people spew poison gas? Usually if people are spewing poison gas in the real world, it's already too late to say or do anything about it. You just gotta evac and get the heck out of there. Or you risk death. I think of things like mustard gas when I think of poison gas, or perhaps sarin gas in our world. Perfume or cologne? I suppose that's an engagement question. And I know, if you're male or female, or even if you're trans or non-binary, the idea of using scent-based mediums to help, like, improve first impressions of yourself, or to impress or wow someone else is just kind of a common day occurrence. Are there people who are, say, maybe allergic to perfume or cologne, or have like very strong reactions to it? Me personally, I have a sensitive nose, so when people put on perfume and cologne, I could smell it from like across a hallway or something, or I can very least pick up on very faint tones, and as soon as that person comes within like 300 feet of me, I can tell that they're wearing perfume or cologne. One of those two things. It's one of those things that if I'm to smell it, I need a very controlled dose of it, or I get a headache. And those headaches can last anywhere from 5 minutes to 24 hours. At which point, you know, as they start to get toward the multiple hour section, they're not headaches anymore, they're migraines. And if a migraine lasts for more than 72 hours, you have a condition called migrainosis, which is ER worthy. Like, as in, they can't refuse to see you because you have migrainosis. At least ERs here in America. I can't speak for anywhere else. But that doesn't have to do with the question. Perfume, cologne, anyone have a preference? If a preference at all? I'm kind of partial to perfume myself. I don't wear perfume, but I prefer perfume out of the things I have to smell. I would much prefer smelling fruit or flowers or something along those lines. Smelling animal musk or I don't know, I guess the scent of tanned leather, not really my thing. That's like a I could do without that. Yuck, gross. Definitely prefer perfume. But I wouldn't wear perfume. Even though I like to smell fruit and flowers, A, I don't want a headache. And B, those are for people who identify as a feminine individual. I am not a feminine individual. And I might like the perfume, but the perfume would not flatter me. I think that takes care of the perfumer's ruins. There is one more set of rocks we can look at, and then after that, I think we're done. We can just go to the next section of what we're trying to do. Nice, we just got a random rune piece. Love that. Love that for us. Vivian, if you're still around by chance, do you have any tips or suggestions for marking these underground or buried Miranda sprouts? I've tried a couple of times and wasted quite a few marks attempting to just mark the things without a lock on. And it, of course, doesn't work. I mean, I guess I'll have to look it up later, but I'll take any answers that people provide at this point. I would much rather get that from a person than from just any old person, any old like text reading. What am I saying? Oh, no, you don't. Sacred Order. Now, what did that do? Sacred Order is like an Erd Tree incantation, right? No, that's an Ash of War. Sacred Order, skill of the Golden Order, Fundamentalist Knights, perform a salute, and grant the armament Holy Essence. Ah, it's a massive give everyone holy damage that uses weapons. Ash of War. That's nice. Alright, let's move on. You've spent enough time idling here. Oh, this was the Sage's Cave, wasn't it? Yep, it sure was. We went right back here when we didn't need to. I think we've explored everything. You come up here, and we've pretty much done that. So now we can go and actually explore the past the Erd Tree Gazing Hell. We can actually deal with the soldiers and encampments that are here. Are you still here? You're still here, huh?
Now, she's passed into...
Yep. Still tracing the path that Melania took. Why, though? What's compelling you to take the journey she took? That makes me legitimately curious. I think between Radahn and Melania, I like Melania more. Mainly because I understand what it's like to be manipulated by a person and not figure it out until it is way too late. Melania should be directing her fury, should have been directing her fury and attention at Moog for reasons that I will only highlight once we've actually met the man for the first time. Not Radahn. There was no reason for Melania and Radahn to have fought in the first place. Like, the fight happened. Which, I guess technically Radahn was the victor, right? I think that's how the story goes, is he technically won that fight based on, like, martial prowess. But the real fight between their two groups of people is that it came to a complete standstill. And Radahn may have won the battle, but I think Melania may have won the war. I'm going to be very careful. See those explosive barrels? If you walk amongst those barrels without paying attention, there are trebuchets sitting right up there. Yeah, look, there's one right... That's a ballista, not a trebuchet, but close enough. I definitely know there are both sitting somewhere up here. When they hit those barrels, they're going to explode, likely killing us in the process. What we want to do, we're going to beat them at their own game. We're going to make 10 of these lovely little pots. Excuse me, 19 of them. And we're just going to knock out these explosive bolts. Well, we started to beat them at their own game. I don't think that's going to last very long. That's not what I wanted to do. Any more? Oh, get away from that. Yeah, this place is kindly set before us as a trap of sorts. The place looks clean, but it isn't. Typically what I like to do through here is speed up. Like, get on a mount, get on something, and go around. And that typically gets the ballista to stop operating. And one for you too. I'm not letting a single scout leave here alive. The key with these big encampments with soldiers in them, especially if you know, see the ballista over the distance, is assess the battleground before you step into it. If you know that there's no way to, like here you probably could have hidden behind some cover or something and been okay. But, let's say in Stormvale Castle, where you've got these ballistae that you can't really hide from them, try to go around. Try to find some way to get around them if you can. You know, try not to pick a direct fight. Hello. Troll's golden sword. It's like, what? Right over here? Troll's golden sword's a great sword. Never mind. Probably. Or it's a colossal weapon. Never mind. Sword given to the lesser giants who fought for the Earth Tree during the war against the giants. Oh, what a surprise. Why? What is it with FromSoft and its obsession with trolls and giants? I just gotta know. Because you know where the War of the Giants crops up again? Dark Souls 2. And you know what? Dark Souls 3 too. Lots of giants. I think Dark Souls 1 also had some giants. And I'm pretty sure you fought against some of them. And not just in limited capacity. Like, there were full-on allusions to it. It's not until Dark Souls 2 where you deal with Drank Lake and that whole kingdom with like Vendrick and company, that you start to understand that, oh, it's not just a small recurring theme, it's a huge theme. And I don't understand. Like, I don't understand the continued reference toward War of the Giants. Like, I don't know. I would love to know the origin of the trope, though. Though they have lost their minds, they stay inseparable from their swords that are in sad shape, such that the gold plating had flaked away. I get the feeling these gold-plated swords were offered as a reward for, you know, any giants that were assisting. And people should have known that it's not a real gold sword. It's gold plating. Too bad it was, like, not actual electrum plating, though. These days, gold plating is done in a rather scientific manner. You usually electroplate the darn thing. If it isn't like an alloyed metal or something that's like folded into the metal as you heat it up and use it, it is most likely... it is most likely being, you know, plated through, not electrophoresis. No, I think that process is called electroplating. There's a similar but not the same technique. It uses the same kind of technology. There's a lot of liquid involved. Called electrophoresis, which uses the power of like molecular weight and electric current to drag molecular samples through a medium. Electrophoresis is used in, or gel plating, that's another way to refer to it. Gel plating like that is typically for, I'm sorry, it's not gel plating, it is electrophoresis. I had it right the first time. That is typically, used in DNA analysis. And specifically to, like, compare DNA reference samples and not anything else. Because of the kinds of dyes and stuff that are used to demarcate the DNA bands as they travel through electrophoresis. You are typically not getting much beyond how, like, which sections of DNA were heaviest. I'm wanting one good, clean shot. I'm just using up all the fire pots we have. Oh, that's not what I'm trying to do. Yeah, you think your guard is useful. Well, let me tell you something about Ambush Shard. Ambush Shard pierces those guards like fine butter by quite literally spawning the spell projectile behind the shield. Cool, huh? We're going to go ahead and use this now. I see we have found another encampment, which is exactly what I was hoping we would find up here. Alright. I should have ducked behind that. Huh. That's close. Oh, no, 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 no. Please don't do this. Wow, that singularity did not, have the impact I thought it was going to. Oh, you could duck that twice. You gonna come this way, or you gonna hide behind that shield of yours? Alright. I guess we're hiding. I think I have found their leashing point. Thank you. But I don't need you harassing me. Alright, the encampment was up here, I think. Yeah, yep, sure enough. Oh, hello. Boy, that sure did not take very long. I tell you, Ambush Shard is one of the best generators around. Like, absolutely. If there were any generator that I would say, apart from maybe, you know, Guided Star, where was it? Golden Star, not Guided Star. Outside of, like, Golden Star, or Honed Bolt also fulfills a similar role. If there's something in sorcery that I think works really well, it's Ambush Shard. Those are some of the best generators. And they make my life as a caster much easier. If you know a pesky enemy isn't going to let you just, Nice. Golden Great Shield. That's going to be right here, huh? Oh, that is a nice guard. Those are nice stats. Oh, and, nice. The nice number for the guard boost. Oval Great Shield, made of gold, carried by knights who protect the royal capital of Lanedell. Knights of Lanedell are reputed for their sturdiness, exemplified by this shield's exceptional guard capacity. So, like, looking at just, like, the guard capacities on these, there actually aren't too many Great Shields I would say are better. Like, yeah, you got the Erdtree Great Shield, which is great. You've got, the Jellyfish Shield, which has a nice weapon art. Just in terms of, like, pure defense, this is great. Like, in terms of actual pure defensive stats. The only things that are better tend to be, like, super specialized shields. Like, this has a 68% percentage, damage negation against Holy, whereas something like the Cuckoo Great Shield has 70%, and that's versus magic instead of Holy. Or something that's like a very distinguished middle ground is like distinguished great shield, which has just good all around guarding stats, including the guard boost. Guard boost is just essentially how much stamina is eaten up by the block. The higher the guard boost is, the less stamina is eaten on a blocked attack, generally speaking. If you want to know the exact numbers for that stuff, I highly recommend looking at the Elden Ring wiki, or like the Fextra wiki or something like that, to get a sense of what the actual numbers are. Let's go down this trench. I think we've spent long enough. Well, I don't know. There is another encampment up here that we never really poked our heads in. Oh, and that would be why. It's one. Okay. We're gonna make sure we're paying attention. We're just gonna drink. Regarding a chest over here, good sir. Yes? No? Maybe so? No? Alright, then. Then I guess let's explore the trench in earnest. And hopefully pick up a couple of nice sweet caves along the way. Something along those lines. We're first going to explore the other end of this trench. Actually, we don't need to. We already did. You know what's here? This is the path toward Godfroy. That's where we fought him. It's just beyond there at that, like, the Golden Lineage Everjail. Alright. What's everyone's favorite region in Elden Ring? In Elden Ring. Good lord. I've already mentioned multiple times, but I'll mention again for the sake of asking the engagement question. Mine's Liurnia, with Altus Plateau is like a very, very close second. There are a number of reasons why I say Liurnia. Most have to do with being the land of sorcery, and it's got a very beautiful tale on why the Academy was made and all that fun stuff. It's got a lot of rich lore history. And I like Altus Plateau for the views. You get a whole bunch of different stuff in here. Speaking of different views, you wouldn't think you'd find, like, a swamp in, you're expecting lakes, not swamps, when it comes to, Altus Plateau, but, like, here would have been that lake. But no, we got an honest-to-goodness swamp. That, too, is also here. You're gonna mark you. Bloodblade. Oh, I believe that's the upgrade to Bloody Slash, possibly, or a different version of it. Yeah, I'm fairly sure that is like an upgrade. Okay, you gonna stop circling around long enough for me to target lock? There we go. Thank you. No, that'll be enough from you. I'm curious what everyone's favorite region is, if they have one. They're like, I just like Elden Ring, period, no matter what land it is. Or, you know, I don't like any of it, so I don't have a favorite region. Understandable. Nice. But I've mentioned mine. So I think we're looking for we're looking for rune pieces and also for any equipment that might be good. Like, we're looking for 100% items. I've mentioned that before. But I often find it useful to remind myself, you know, why we're doing something. Especially when it's quiet, like today. We had a little bit of banter from Ivy, but it otherwise has been exceptionally quiet, which is fine. That's kind of how streaming is. You spend a long time, kind of talking to no one. Of course, if you want to have your questions highlighted, I have a channel points system in place. 50 points gets your question highlighted. That's like roughly 10 minutes of watching me. Roughly, something along those lines. Or, you know, you can always feel free to ask. Right now I'm at that size where, you know, I do notice questions. And as long as you're not violating terms of service, I will answer them. Later on, when I get more viewership, I may have to get a bit pickier about which questions I answer and which ones I'm like, I'll leave that in the whispers. I'll like actually communicate with someone in that capacity, rather than openly or directly stating an opinion on something. That's just how the game is played, folks. Welcome to content creation. If you don't want your opinion to be out there, you don't talk on the internet, ever. You actually isolate yourself. Even amongst friends and family, you don't, Come on. Do that big ol' slam. Okay, you didn't do any slams, but I'll settle for you having these repeatable, predictable attacks, though. That I will definitely take. Anything up here? There's a small area, but that appears to just be mostly root resins. I think most of the sites that of actual interest are probably going to be toward the beginnings and ends of the ditch here, and not anywhere in the middle. Ooh, it's been a little bit since we've seen one of you. Good. Though, out of all the rates that are there, I definitely like those ones the least. Very annoying. Constantly riding around on horseback. Making it rather difficult to get an attack in, or, you know, while they're riding around, they're hard to hit, but... Again, in FromSoft titles, you just get used to... You just get used to that stuff. You learn patience. Mostly what you learn is a patience for the unfair. You learn a patience for when the game slights you in any capacity. And you almost develop a sort of Stockholm syndrome for it. Like, yes, the game is very unfun at particular points, but you know what? The points where it is fun, I like it a lot. Are you... Don't run. It'll all be over soon. Yeah, very, very much Stockholm Syndrome. That a troll? That is a troll. That's okay. We take those. Hello, troll. Are you, like... I haven't noticed this. Are they actually embedding the sword in themselves? I think that's what they're doing. I didn't even think about that. That they are literally wearing the swords in their bodies and are pulling them out. I only just now noticed that. That's really, cool, I guess. It's weird. Why would you... you know what? Some things are probably not worth a question, if I'm being quite honest. It's fantasy. But also, I guess, just logically thinking through it, the trolls are kind of, you know, mad. Which is what the shattering did to everything, is made people, lose their sanity. I imagine that's what happened to the trolls as well. You know, made everyone lose their sanity. Why else would everything be out to get you? I could see no other way that that'd be the case. Is that actually gonna be able to lead us up to a cave? No, because there it is right there. That's fine. Oh, that's funny. Caster comes in and just slams their staff down, knowing full well if he actually missed with a staff bash, he would look like a freaking idiot. But somehow, that singular staff blow was all it took. With what little poise they had left anyway. To just fall over. I'm very curious. Now, in some media clips I've seen on, the Elden Ring Reforged Discord, there are people playing with poise meters on, and I'm wondering, well, maybe not on, but, like, they have something that indicates a poise meter, and I would be very curious, asking for a friend, if it would be possible to get such a poise meter for, like, Elden Ring Reforged. I think that would be a very, very good practice. Hello. Nice rune piece. That's 20 right there. We could take that lift, come out, and return and collect our precious goods. Even though we've lamented the loss of 180,000 runes, I do like that we have managed to already grind up 249,000 of them. Which just goes to show you that in Elden Ring, you don't really want to be getting upset at, you know, losses. You can grind stuff very easily. Especially in Elden Ring Reforged, where the grinding process is just...
Share them with me. Your thoughts. Your ambitions.
Let's put the points in stamina first. And then when we get 100 points of that, we can keep going about our business. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and take our last break for the hour. And when I return, we're going to explore the old Altus Tunnel and hopefully make our way out toward someplace interesting. You guys know the spiel, 5 minutes on the clock, and I will see you after this short commercial break. So sorry about that, folks. I ended up having to bag tonight's dinner. Because a whole big dinner box was gonna go to waste if it wasn't bagged. Also, it's summertime, so there are at least a few flies in the house, and they like to congregate in the kitchen where there's accumulated food trash or other sorts of organic waste. Flies are sort of nature's organic processors, and like composters. It makes sense. But flies also tend to harbor like bacteria and other diseases, which occur entirely as a result of the places that their proboscises tend to touch. Yeah, I don't think so. Nice dog. What was I saying? Right. Because of the very nature of the flies themselves as insects, I don't want that touching leftovers that we're probably going to be eating for the next 2-3 days. If you're going to get a big dinner box, you definitely don't want to waste it. And you don't want to waste it over something as trivial as, I forgot to package it for the night, and so it's all bad now. It just sat out in the open for like multiple hours. Yeah, don't want that. Unfun experience. And on top of it being an unfun experience, it's a waste of money. Let's not do that. I'm sure my folks would have packaged it eventually, but who knows how long before flies would have made that their home, their nest, and laid eggs in the food. Gross, I know. But it just goes to prove my point. Nice. Goodness. Any other dogs in there I should be aware of? No? Alright then. I think we're either going to find a ghost-bearing, like a somber miner's bell or a regular miner's bell. Ooh, nice. We got ourselves the Bolt Drake Talisman +1, which is... Yep, which means we want to be wearing that instead of the normal one if we need to boost our mitigations for some ungodly reason. I think we're actually pretty powerful. We'd only really want to boost our mitigations on bosses, or I guess difficult trash. You'd think there'd be something back here, but alas, there kind of just isn't. And we've already been to the backside, technically, in the form of going around the right-hand side here. Our left, the shack's right. Okay. So we went up and to the left here, which means we want to be heading down now and sticking to the right-hand side. Nice. Gotta love collapsing stars. I think collapsing stars might be a tad bit better than singularity. Singularity it feels nice to cast because it's a big spell, but oftentimes you're only getting it to like explode on 1 or 2 creatures. and you want it to explode on like 5, but it's too dangerous to cast it in such a scenario. So what you end up with is a case where you want to cast the spell in order to pull a dangerous enemy forward and get some extra utility out of being able to I'm gonna come up here. I know you can climb these ladders. Thank you. Nice. We're either dead or very close to it. Wow. How brave of you. Okay, back up this way, and we're headed around. Alright. That's gonna take us some time to cross. You are a brave individual. Alright, that's fine. I think we died. Yep, we died. Yep, that happened. We don't have the best spells for, making schleps into the cavern. Let's change that. Along with reapplying a rune arc, of course. What do we want to change? Singularity is nice. But I feel like this is one... And, I'm sorry. It's nice, but this is one of those times where we want to just replace it with something else. I don't normally use this, but I do think... I guess we didn't... I remember this being underwhelming, but I'm willing to give it a shot. Magic Glint Blade. Then... what else? I suppose we could try Rock Blaster, followed by Moon Chill. Actually, we still want Starlight. We can't even have this. We gotta put on interesting. Alright, then I guess if this is how it's gotta be. Let's test the effect of the actual summons now. Interesting. Did we pick up our lost runes? Yeah, we did. We picked them up. Unfortunately, we still kind of have to clear out some sections of the cave so that we don't, you know, get ganked while we're trying to run away from stuff. See, Moonchill, Starlight. Acidity, drink, and then the summons. And then again, summons again. Actually, this isn't a half bad spell. Really, the only thing is it's quite slow. And you don't want to be casting it in the midst of combat without backup. Some sort of distraction in the form of a summon or something. Or, you know, another really nice feature of Elden Ring Reforged is that it's actually, for the most part, it's seamless compatible. And because it's seamless co-op compatible, another mod that lets you essentially play co-op with other people on like a somewhat of a enhanced server. You can pair this with Elden Ring Reforged. You actually can't charge this spell. Good to know. So at most I'm getting, what, 2 casts off? Something like that. 2 casts and, like 1 or 2 casts and that's it. Yeah, you can pair this with seamless co-op and have extra good fun on top of just being able to play Elden Ring with your friends. And not just in the PvP sense. I really think this is a missed opportunity. Where you could have definitely enhanced the co-op aspects of the game a lot more. Like, summon signs were nice in Dark Souls. And it fit the nature of this, but honestly, from a gameplay perspective, there's no reason that there couldn't have been extra justifications made. Gonna go ahead and go right back up. Is there any way we could... I see what we need to do. I don't like it, but I see it. What we want to do is come over here and drop down. Get a rune piece while we're here. And... oh, you gonna like, come down here. Well, come on then, good sir. Come and join the fight. And another one. No, I don't think so. If I let your shielded brethren coming over, I'm definitely not letting you come over. You're much faster. The key to exploring mines is patience. Mostly patience and persistence and coming with a... I thought I overheard something. And coming in with plenty of supplies. Plenty of flasks. Oh, hello. We got the Troll's Hammer earlier, which might be worth looking at. It's a colossal weapon, right? Yep. Boosts Giant's Flame incantations. Now, this is interesting. Because usually, these sorts of things are meant to beat people. They're not meant to help you with casting spells. I think that's pretty cool, if I'm being completely honest with myself. Mining tool, stone digger trolls used to crack bedrock. Trolls are descended from the giants. And these were supposedly once used as ceremonial smithing tools. In the distant past, smithing was considered divine. Look into the distance and let out an intense roar, generating a powerful shockwave that blows back surrounding foes. Follow up with a strong attack to slam the armament down. Oh, I guess if you want something to help you with, what was it? Giants' flame incantations? Well, there you go. And seeing as how trolls are descended of giants, this actually makes a lot of sense. The giants in this game are known for their use of fire. They have a specific school of incantation just for that purpose. And they're very dangerous. They're very powerful. They're very effective. Ooh, what about back here? Did we go back here? No, but this is the path forward. So where else can we go? At that area up there, we had whatever this was back here. Which I don't think you can actually get behind this building. You might be able... Actually, no, I take that back. You might be able to, but it's a one-way trip. Hang on. Confirming some things for science. Because I definitely feel like you could get back there. There's like a supply or two back here. Okay, never mind. We can get back here normally. I was being an idiot. Let's actually take the obvious path down now. Which is not over here, admittedly. It is behind a building. It's meant to obfuscate and confuse. Nice. We've got a nice explosive room. Which, this was definitely set up as a trap room. But you're thinking like, oh, it's the end, right? It just seems like a giant trap room. But actually, so far, we haven't been given anywhere else to go. So why don't we try... Oh, actually, now I'm being a giant idiot. I look like a fool. I thought that was an illusory wall. Or like a breakaway wall or something. But no, that's not how you advance. Unsure. Let's try to find our way through the cave then. Maybe we missed something. Nothing so far. Is it like over here then? Seeing as how we missed the inside of the hut. Yeah, okay, I think it's this way. Yep, I figured as much. All right. I like the trap room you've set up, good sir. Nice, you're gonna start moving faster. Thank you, Sir Mimic. You've been very helpful. This room was only slightly more dangerous. I mean, if you don't have a Mimic tier, I guess it really is quite different. But the only gimmick is the explosive barrels. If he hits those, he might not be... The troll might not even take any damage. It would be just you. They're meant to be a battlefield hazard. Clearly, though, with how far we've come, and the power we've obtained, it's not a very effective hazard. I'm pretty happy to leave this cave behind. Oh, well, you know what? Like, leaving that cave will be all well and good, but, we actually probably needed to go back into the cave so that we can, rest. I should just start, like, actually fast traveling. But I like to get my stuff back. Alright. We don't need those spells now. I suppose we'll keep trying out lucidity for a while. What else do we want? Star shower, probably. Meteorite could be useful, and then I suppose the last spell will be. Actually, I should structure these a little bit better than I currently am. All right, let's fix that. Death Rancor, excuse me. Tibia summons. Magic Glint Blade. Loretta's Great Bow. And what was the last one? Oh, right. Actually, if we want to do that, it can't be Glint Blade. It has to be Star Shower. Alright. We've got our sorceries. We got them all picked out. Let's get going. Hopefully everybody has been enjoying the gameplay. I'm enjoying the gameplay. That's pretty important to me. But I realize that a lot of it just looks like I'm playing Elden Ring. And that's because I am. You know, it might be a mod of Elden Ring, but it's not really adding a whole bunch of new areas. It's adding new things in the areas for us to do. Hello. Wow, I blanked on what I was gonna say again. I think this has probably been my worst episode to date. Because of all the blanking out I've done. I guess I don't really have that much to talk about. But for anyone who's beaten the game, I guess I guess I could consider this an engagement question. What do you think of the game? I have not beaten it. I've come, I would say, a little more than halfway or actually a little bit less than halfway in vanilla when it comes to like progress. And even in Elden Ring Reforged, like this is the furthest I've probably gotten yet. And I would still maybe wouldn't put this past half, like halfway through. Everyone feel like it's a good game, but maybe went a little over their head, or more like, well, they certainly put a lot of love and attention into it, but would we class it as a good game? Maybe not. Or maybe a good game, but not necessarily a good FromSoft game, which may be indicative of where the company is headed, if that's the kind of common evaluation you would expect from someone. It's a good game. If it came from a different person, it would be fine. It would be absolutely fantastic. But because it's from, I expect better. And they didn't give better. You know? Something along those lines. I enjoy what I'm playing of it, and I definitely like Elden Ring more with ERR on top of it, not less. There's more freedom. There's more build options. There's faster animations, all that fun stuff. And Kernifer puts a lot of attention to detail on how they draft things up for this game. They put a lot of attention to detail. They did not have to go through with an alternate leveling system. They did not have to implement a level cap. They did not have to make new bosses. Like, everyone is pretty fine if there's new spells or new Ashes of War. But most people want the same integral gameplay loops as before. They don't really want changes to an IP, as I've come to discover. Most people just want some new things here or there, but they want the same tried true stuff. They want the stuff they like, and they don't want the stuff they don't. I guess it's kind of a non-sentence when I say it like that, but it's the truth. It's why sequelitis is such a common trope among video games, especially like games in the early 90s, where it's like people simultaneously clamor for a sequel, but the sequel does worse than the original because the sequel is less novel by virtue of it being a sequel. If that makes it sounds circular, because it is. It definitely sounds circular because it is. And it's self-feeding and self-perpetuating as well. Oh, hello. What will the summons do? Nice. Summons just kill these immobile enemies in one go. That's pretty cool. Definitely not meant to be used in fast boss combats, though. And if you didn't think Miyazaki would put a poison swamp here in Altus Plateau, you got another thing coming. And it's not just any kind of, it's not just any kind of poison swamp. It's poison swamp with, like, the rot in it. Rotten Miranda blossoms. Yup. I swear, Miyazaki has a fetish with these poison swamps. Now, I expected... Oh, I think that's just damage. That's not an actual poison status. We need to keep going, because I want to see it. Interesting. So if I call him back out, the poison status is still actually there. Cool. Do we have anything? Can we make anything? Those are sweet raisins. Okay. So the raisins themselves just cure the ailment. That makes sense. I'm fine with this development. Now we take the raisins off our bar and hope we don't have to use them again. That's cool. I would definitely say some changes in Elden Ring Reforged have gone down in infamy. The elevator Godskin Noble will be a decision that goes down in infamy for a very, very long time. I think almost nobody would like that fight on an elevator. Even with the heavily nerfed version, I guess if you've got some skill, you're fine. But I don't have that much skill, and I think it's a novel idea, right? You know, having the fight on the elevator, and it is optional. You don't have to do it. But if you're going for if you're wanting to do a quest line, well, frankly, if you want to start Fia's quest line, then guess what? You have to do this. You have to kill that elevator noble. You don't have a choice in the matter. That choice was gone the second you decided to undertake that quest. Which, I don't know what to make of that. I think that might be, like, the worst part of it for me, is the elevator noble feels cool in concept, but it's missing something in execution. I don't know if it's like there just needs to be a failsafe, or, you know, a noble is not something you want to fight on an elevator platform where you can literally fall off. I don't know what the right answer to that is. It's Pernifer's mod. At the end of the day, it's their decision what does or does not get included in their mod. Even though you can support them on Ko-fi, as in the donation website, even though you could support them there, anyone who doesn't pay or can't afford to support is essentially getting the mod for free. Pernifer still has ultimate say on what goes into or out of that mod. It is their project. Even team members, you know, unless Pernifer has given them explicit permission to be like, no, hey, I don't like this idea. That's not very cool. Can we get rid of it? And I don't know the answer to whether Pernifer has or hasn't. Only Evidian or someone else could tell us, and that's not really our business. You know, if Pernifer wants an elevator noble, then we get an elevator noble, and we just have to deal with it. That's the honest, solid truth of it. And you have to try to find some subtle meaning or appreciation. You have to find some way to accept it. Right? Because only you are in control of your own actions. No one else is making you feel this way. You are making you feel this way. It might be in response to something, but your response to the thing making you feel that way is yours and yours alone. Uh-oh. That is not good. Nice. How he managed to tip me with that, I'll never know. Alright, generator time. But it wasn't time for me to muck it up yet. That's my fault. Eat a rock sling to the face. Thanks for your patronage, I guess. Yeah, so we also had to deal with Murray while also having to fight the Golem at the exact same time. I think the Golem was also hostile, which made the fight a little bit more tolerable. But, alas. Even that didn't really help, as the golem was still hostile to us. Alright. We're here at the castle, and in the interest of trying to answer nature's call, knowing full well we've got less, like, a bit over 10 minutes, I'm going to take a quick lap around the castle, just make sure we've gotten everything on the outside, and then I think we're going to call it a little early. I know, sad times. I don't think anybody honestly cares that much. But I think the Shaded Castle is a perfect place to call it for the evening. It represents our next big objective. We've accomplished quite a bit. We actually got the map fragment. It's the last one we're going to get before going up here to the snow top of the giants and other places. As we have, when we got the map fragment for Lanedale, we got it for Lanedale and the capital as well. I'm sorry, when we got that fragment for Altus Plateau, we got it for the plateau plus the capital. So, we don't have any more map fragments we need to collect before that point. Another point of curiosity is I wonder what this is. I wonder if we're going to know more about that in, like, a future DLC. Like, if we just look at this map, there aren't... Let's see, there are some interesting whirlpools that do occur. But just looking at it, I would love to know what some of these ships are. Why are there ships drawn? Is that just an artistic... is that an artistic liberty? Looks like it. But I'm real curious about this landmass. I want to know what this is. Or what kind of... Is that, like, Deepholm? You know, in World of Warcraft, it's not Warlords of Draenor. It's, Cataclysm. It's the home of the Earth Elementals. That's Deepholm. Which is, by the way, a really cool place in my mind. What can I say? I'm a sucker for shamanistic elements in video games. I love me some Storm, Earth, and Fire. I'm very curious as to what that structure is. I don't think it actually means anything. I think it's another artistic liberty. Because this game is more focused about trees than rocks. Because it takes a great deal of its inspiration from, like, Scottish and Celtic lore, if I remember correctly. And they tend to focus more on forests and trees. And if the stones mean anything, it's usually because they're runes. They have some sort of, like, language imprinted upon them, and that is how they come to mean something. And not for any other reason. Just making sure that we've collected everything while we're here. Because the Shaded Castle, as you can see, is surrounded by poisonous swamp. And death basilisks and so many other things. It's quite the anomaly. I mean, you had a bit of Altus Plateau that was you know, mired by worm faces, those who live in death. Then you have Mount Gelmir, which roasts a part of Altus Plateau. And then you've got nice. Just want to make sure. I think we'll have to go through the old Altus Tunnel again, but that's fine. But it's surrounded by a bunch of stuff. Very interesting stuff. And And besides the flames and the worm faces, so the face of death itself, you also have fields of fulgur bloom and dragons that make their home here. And you've got this poisonous swamp, which sort of exists as this like weird border between one portion, and you've got this ravine which exists as another buffer between Mount Gelmir and Altus Plateau. I'm very curious how much of this was Rykard's doing, how much of this was independent of what Rykard was doing, and how much of this was because Leyndell took extreme measures into their own hands. I see that rune piece out on the horizon. We're gonna get that real quick. And then that's gonna be the very last thing we do. Then I absolutely gotta call it. Because I am fighting nature's call now. And that's not a good place for a human body to be, is fighting nature's call. You don't want to be doing that. Alright. Let's go back to the Table of Lost Grace. Fibbing a little bit, and let's exchange binding runes so that we don't, or let's buy a binding rune so that we don't have to do this the next time we stream. Thank you very much. Okay, that is where I'm going to call it. Thank you guys very much for stopping by. I appreciate it. Appreciate any good lurkers that were in here. I appreciate anybody who stopped by. It means a lot. It really does. If you like the content, consider leaving a follow. That's probably the last bit of repeat chilling I'll do. Everything else has links. Click on them. I have a link tree too if you want that. On Wednesday, when you and I will see one another, we'll be playing some Mass Effect. We finished Vermeer, and we'll have to go to Ilos. Like, we're gonna get any missions that have to be completed, which will probably be an episode or two, and then the next planet will be Ilos. And we're slowly closing in toward what the final battle would be. Between Shepard and Saren. That's very much something we're building toward. We already had a little bit of a fight, but Saren was clearly still too powerful for us. Hopefully, we'll be able to take the fight to him next time. With that, I suppose, my name is Coin, or Swirling Vortex, or Steven. This has been another episode of Elden Ring Reforged. You're welcome in my hallowed halls. Anytime. I normally do shoutouts, but my body is starting to mutiny, so I'm going to end the stream. Thank you guys so much. Take care of yourselves, and bye-bye.